Does it come as any surprise that I can't stand the Crucible in this game? I mean, does it fucking surprise anyone, especially those who party with me and watch my stream, how fucking irritating the Crucible is to me? I'm sure not even the YouTube auditor will be surprised by this, and he's a fucking asshole. Oh man, the fucking Crucible. Now, let me just say this right off the bat, because the kiddies don't pay attention to shit and they run their mouths in the comment section. It forces me to make them look stupid. I like Call of Duty mechanics. I like the feel of their gameplay. I like the functionality of their control system. And most importantly, I like that it doesn't take a shitload of bullets to kill people in Call of Duty. But when you move to different shooters, you're bound to get different mechanics and shit. And here's the thing. With Call of Duty, when you remove all the stupid shit in the game, from the perks to kill streaks, equipments, and all that other garbage, I would choose Call of Duty mechanics over anything else. Of course, Call of Duty has become mundane. It's the same shit over and over again, along with a whole bunch of annoyances and shit like that. But at its core, their game mechanics will always be what I prefer. If I had to play bare bones on Call of Duty versus any other game where you eliminate all the bullshit and all you have is a primary weapon against each other, the mechanics of Call of Duty is what always draws me in. Now, just look at the number of shooter games that I've tried, but I didn't like. Resistance Fallen Man was my very first one on PlayStation 3. I had fun, but I wouldn't go back to it. Resistance 2 had a great co-op and an excellent server with 60 people in rooms with absolutely no lag, but I didn't like it. I didn't like their competitive multiplayer. I preferred co-op. Resistance 3 was beyond laggy and terrible, so I didn't even play that joint. I've tried Battlefield. I don't like the mechanics. I also don't like that vehicles are constantly on the maps as well as the map size. I know there are other game modes, but let's be honest, the main ones that you have are vehicles and large-ass maps. So that's just not my flavor of gaming. I've tried Homefront, and again, the vehicles piss me off. I did like the mechanics of that game, though, but in the end, it just wasn't a game for me. Tried Crysis, didn't like it. Tried Uncharted, didn't like it, although that's a third-person shooter, and you guys know how I feel about those joints. Tried Bioshock 2, Metal Gear Online, Killzone 2 and 3, SOCOM. They all have the same thing in common. It doesn't feel like Call of Duty. It doesn't have the same twitch mechanics or quick reflex kills that allows you to get someone before they get you. And the mechanics of Call of Duty are what I'm missing here in Destiny. I know this isn't Call of Duty. I know when you play different games that they're going to do something different because they don't want to just copy each other. I don't want this to be Call of Duty, but at the same time, the few things Call of Duty has gotten right over the years is absent in all the other games. In Destiny, the game has its own share of bullshit that pisses me the fuck off and doesn't have the mechanics that I personally prefer to play. The Crucible itself is going to appeal to some people and it's going to turn others off. The people who it turns off are those who don't like the bullshit included in the player versus player modes. Those who enjoy the Crucible are the ones who take advantage of the bullshit in the game. Now, let's just revisit what I said a few months ago when the beta actually rolled out. I said that the Crucible is going to be the ultimate dick measuring competition, and that's going to piss off a lot of people. And sure enough, the Crucible is one gigantic dick measuring competition fueled by the race to get the best items that give you an advantage when advantages are supposedly turned off. Bungie went out of their way to create a formula and nerfs and programming to balance the Crucible. Their idea and concept of balance is to give all the weapons and armor the same damage input and output. Your gun is going to do the same damage per second. Your armor will take the same amount of damage per bullet. So a 200 level attack weapon will do the same exact damage as an 80 attack weapon. Your 1000 defense on armor is going to be the same as a 200 defensive armor from another player. That's balance. What isn't balanced is everything else involved. Your character has powers, and whatever powers you have in your power tree are used in the Crucible, whether it's better jump abilities, cooldowns, extra orbs, you name it, there are advantages. Weapons themselves still have perks. Higher ranked armor still have perks, and when all is said and done, someone who grinded for hours to play the game will have better things than you. They have items that even when nerfed and equalized still holds advantages over what you have. And I know the argument here. I grinded for hours, so yes, I should have an advantage in the game. And that right there is what separated Call of Duty from all the other games. Although in Call of Duty games you can unlock certain items as you progress that improves your character, at no point in the game did you ever feel massively underpowered. At no point in the game did you not have enough abilities to challenge other players at the lowest levels. A level 10 could compete with a level 50 in Call of Duty. The gun variances were the only real difference. The perks didn't give you something that made your character stronger. It gave you a perk that had to improve your gameplay. UAV Jammer didn't improve your character. It allowed you to avoid the radar to get an advantage over someone. Sleight of Hand didn't make you stronger. it reduced the time it took to be ready to shoot. Quick Draw didn't make your bullets more accurate, it gave you the ability to shoot someone quicker before they can shoot you. Everyone had the same health, same speed, well, depending on the gun you took if you had an LMG, same damage output, but in Destiny, you will not have the advantages a higher ranked player will get. A level 20 who certainly did their share of work to get there is not a level 24 with an exotic rifle. A level 23, someone who already passed the soft cap, is not a level 30 with a complete legendary loadout and all the perks unlocked for guns and classes. And that's what makes this game so fucking frustrating, is that you're randomly rewarded with the items that you play with. Never mind that after a game rewards and the drop rate is fucking shitty with all those cool items and completely random. There's no logic or fluidity with this. There's no schedule or ability to when you get random rewards. Sure, over time you're going to earn enough money to buy certain things in the tower, but that doesn't change the randomness of getting to level 28 through item drops. I could have played more hours and been a lower rank than someone because they got a random better drop than I did. And their grenades and superpowers replenish quicker than mine because they happen to have gotten an exotic armor while I'm still stuck on legendary. They could have a rocket launcher that tracks 2 people or that fires 2 rockets instead of 1. They could have the ability to replenish their shield quicker, take less damage when they're causing damage. There's no true choice in what perks you may grab because it's all dependent on your random armor and how lucky you get with those items outside of your abilities. Balance does not exist in this multiplayer at all. At all. Evening out primary damage doesn't even out the other shit in the game. And considering the level of customization you have with your armor, on top of your weapons, your damage and abilities and all that shit, there is no way this game could ever be truly balanced. Not to mention, some of the abilities within the classes are just utterly ridiculous to counter to begin with. Like Hunters sliding long distances with those shotguns, which all but gives them fucking immunity for shot. Don't even get me started, man. I'm about to get pissed at just thinking about that shit. I mean, all of this shit is even before the Iron Banner starts, which removes all restrictions. You go in with your best gear, and chances are an ass kicking is awaiting if you're not level 30 decked out with all the good shit. The game is brutal to those who don't invest enough time to unlock what they need, and they're gonna suffer against people who grind for hours for the best items in the game. Unlike Call of Duty, where a 2nd prestige can mathematically still compete with a 10th prestige, Destiny does not offer any resemblance of level balancing or skill balancing. It's a brutal way to play. In all honesty, they need a playlist that allows level 22s to play against each other, level 24s to play against each other, level 27, whatever the fuck case it is. They need something like Halo 2 that allowed for skill within a certain level. This is so fucking absurd that the abilities you have are based off of the random drops that you've got, which doesn't even correlate to the number of hours you grinded for that shit. My prediction for the Crucible was dead on during the beta, and the arms race has been magnified even more without characters being level 8. You know, in the beta, there was a cap as to how much you could rank up and how far your abilities can go per character, but that limit has exponentially grown here. We're not even talking about the ability balances yet. We're not even talking about the superpower balances yet. No. We're just talking your base level of all the shit you can possibly get. And unlike most people, I didn't focus on just one character. You know, there are people that took one character, haven't even started a 2nd character or a 3rd character, and basically kept their one character all the way up to level 30. But me, I did the fucking opposite. Instead of focusing on one character, I made sure all my 3 characters were ranked up similarly. I wanted to get all 3 characters to a decent level, but in doing so, I sacrificed the time that I could have used focusing on just one character. Instead of spending 15 hours on 3 characters, I could have spent 45 hours on one character and made that motherfucker king shit. And that's what the majority of people did, according to Bungie's latest stats. More people have one main class that they use, and very few players in the world manage to get all their characters up to level 20 or so, or 25 in my case. Shit, I wish Bungie had a playlist where you needed to use your lowest ranked character, because all those level 30 morons would be screwed. Oh man, that should be hilarious. You have to use level 1 character, and I get to use my level 24 up in this motherfucker. Anyway, they're never gonna do that shit. As for the games themselves, you know, the actual gameplay, I get killed by more shit other than primary weapons. Between the shotguns, grenades, superpowers, that fucking melee garbage where I hit a motherfucker and then they laugh at it and they punch me in the fucking face with one shot and kills me. No, don't even get me started, man. The heavy weapons, vehicles, all that shit kills me more than primary weapons. I'll tell you right now. One-on-one, I can win a good portion of primary weapon fights, but this isn't a one-on-one game. Because of how many bullets it takes to drop a motherfucker. I mean, what, 8 headshots or some shit like that? I could shoot someone in the face for almost an entire clip, yet he can still walk away after absorbing 8 to 10 headshots. In that time, I'm also taking damage as well. So the only real way of maximizing this exorbitant health shit is to roll with a group or roll with someone, even if it's a random. If 2 people come across 1 person, chances are the 1 person is going to die, and they're going to die quickly. Since it takes so much firepower to drop a motherfucker, 2 people naturally ganging up on 1 person will kill him a lot quicker, and that's pretty much how you have to roll in this game, with at least 2 or 3 people at the same time to make sure you're eliminating targets without them shooting you. You know, in Call of Duty, you can get a triple spray with no issue. Here, you better hope nobody is looking at you, and then maybe you can get that triple spray. Or you better hope somebody weakened everyone else, and then you're able to kill all of them in a couple of bullets. Now, after each Crucible match, the rewards are completely fucking random. You could have single-handedly carried your team to victory and not earned shit. Meanwhile, the douche in last place who went 1-14 gets a fucking legendary engram? What the fuck? Why does this fucker get an engram and I don't get shit? Why is there no rhyme or reason to the logic of who gets something and who doesn't? You already have an unbalanced multiplayer portion due to the random nature of the leveling system, and now the rewards for playing are entirely random as well with no general logic. It's fucking stupid, man, and clearly someone didn't think this shit out. On top of that, if you want to get all the PlayStation trophies or Xbox achievements, you have to play multiplayer. You can't get around that. You have to get 100 kills of each type. You have to get heavy weapon kills. Kill each type of Guardian in one life. Get the first blood of a match, whatever the fuck. There is no way around this shit. If you get an exotic weapon bounty, you have to visit the Crucible, because part of the exotic challenges is environment and part is multiplayer. So basically, it's completely unavoidable for those of you who want to get everything in this fucking game. The Crucible is just not my flavor of gaming at all. It's not that it's bad, it's that it's generally unbalanced to the point that it's really not fair unless you're level 30. It has far too many flaws, far too many annoyances, and the worst part is that if I want to get everything in the game, I will need to force myself to keep playing this bullshit, although I despise doing so already. Because right now, it is just a gigantic fucking headache. It really is a shitty way to force people to play areas they absolutely want no part of. Anyways, y'all knew a Crucible rant was coming. Oh man, I can't stand this shit. But anyway, as always, rate, comment, subscribe, and all that good shit. And tomorrow will be the live stream of me kicking Atheon's ass for the final time.